Your testosterone is not failing because you are getting older. It is failing because of what is living inside your gut. Most men who go to their doctor with low energy, low libido, poor muscle retention and brain fog get told the same thing: your testosterone is declining. Here is a prescription. But a 2025 systematic review published in PeerJ scanning 10 major scientific databases confirmed what researchers have been building toward for years. The gut microbiome directly regulates testosterone production, metabolism, and bioavailability in men. And a landmark paper published in Nature Biofilms and Microbiomes in January 2026 introduced a term that is about to change how medicine thinks about male hormonal health forever: the testobolome. Right now in June 2026, most American men have never heard this word. By the end of this video, you will understand why it is the most important hormone discovery for men in the last decade, and what you can do about it starting today. In this video, you will learn 5 things. First, what the testobolome is, and why it changes everything about how we understand low testosterone. Second, the specific gut bacteria that directly correlate with testosterone levels in men, and which ones most Americans are losing right now. Third, the precise biological cascade that turns gut dysbiosis into hormonal collapse. Fourth, why the standard American diet is the most effective testosterone destruction system ever designed. And fifth, the 5 protocol changes that rebuild the gut testosterone connection within 30 days. Let's start with the discovery published in Nature that most doctors have not read yet: the testobolome. Published in Nature Biofilms and Microbiomes in January 2026, researchers proposed a new scientific term, the testobolome, defined as the collection of gut bacteria and their gene products that metabolize testosterone. This is directly analogous to the estrobolome, the gut bacteria that metabolize estrogen, which has been cited over 760 times in scientific literature since 2011 and is now a standard concept in women's hormonal health. The testobolome establishes the same framework for men. Testosterone does not operate independently of your gut. It enters the gut through bile, after being produced by the testes and adrenal glands. It gets metabolized by specific bacteria using steroid processing enzymes. It gets reabsorbed into circulation or excreted depending on which bacteria are present, how active they are, and whether the gut environment supports healthy hormone cycling. Your gut bacteria are literally deciding what happens to your testosterone after your body produces it. The Nature 2026 paper identifies that testosterone undergoes microbial transformations similar to estrogens, and that these transformations directly influence hormone homeostasis and health. This means that 2 men with identical testosterone production from their testes can have completely different circulating testosterone levels, because one man's gut is reabsorbing testosterone efficiently, and the other man's gut is metabolizing it incorrectly and excreting it. This is the hidden variable that no standard blood test measures, and this is why so many men on testosterone optimization protocols continue to feel suboptimal, because the gut handling the hormone was never addressed. Now here is the bacterial reality that the 2025 PeerJ systematic review confirmed across 10 databases of scientific literature. Specific gut bacteria directly and measurably correlate with testosterone levels in men. Ruminococcus, Doria, Megamonas, and Acinetobacter all showed significant positive correlations with testosterone levels. Men with higher populations of these bacteria had measurably higher testosterone. Men with depleted populations had measurably lower testosterone. Conversely, Bacteroides, which proliferates in gut environments disrupted by ultra-processed food, high sugar intake, chronic antibiotic use, and poor sleep, was anti-correlated with testosterone metabolites. Higher Bacteroides dominance meant lower testosterone bioavailability. The 2025 review also confirmed that certain gut microbes possess steroid processing enzymes that directly affect androgen metabolism, meaning the gut is not just passively hosting bacteria, but actively enzymatically processing your testosterone through the microbial community you have cultivated through your diet and lifestyle. And here is the devastating connection for American men specifically. The dietary pattern that feeds Bacteroides and depletes Ruminococcus is the standard American diet, the diet that provides 57% of average American daily calories from ultra-processed food. Every bag of chips, every fast food meal, every sugary drink is directly feeding the bacteria that suppress your testosterone, while starving the bacteria that support it. Your food is not just making you fat. It is rebuilding your gut microbiome into a testosterone-suppressing environment, one meal at a time, over years and decades. Here is the full hormonal cascade that occurs once gut dysbiosis is established. Step 1. Dysbiosis erodes the gut lining. The protective mucosal layer thins. Intestinal permeability increases. The gut becomes what scientists call leaky. Step 2. Bacterial endotoxins called lipopolysaccharides, LPS, leak through the compromised gut wall into systemic circulation. LPS is one of the most potent inflammatory signals in human biology. A single meal of ultra-processed food measurably elevates circulating LPS within hours. Decades of this diet creates chronically elevated LPS as a baseline condition. Step 3. LPS triggers systemic inflammation. The body elevates interleukin-6, tumor necrosis factor alpha, and other pro-inflammatory cytokines as an immune response to the bacterial endotoxin flood. Step 4. These inflammatory cytokines directly suppress the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, the HPG axis, which is the hormonal command chain that instructs your testes to produce testosterone. Chronic inflammation is one of the most powerful inhibitors of HPG axis function known to medicine. Step 5. Testosterone production drops at the source. Sex hormone-binding globulin rises, further reducing the free testosterone available for tissue use. Total testosterone on a blood test may look marginal or normal, while free testosterone, the bioavailable form, has collapsed. Step 6. Lower testosterone reduces muscle mass and increases fat tissue accumulation, particularly visceral fat. Visceral fat contains high concentrations of the aromatase enzyme, which converts remaining testosterone into estrogen. More estrogen signals the HPG axis to produce even less testosterone. The cycle becomes biologically self-reinforcing and accelerates with every passing year, unless the gut is addressed at the root. This mechanism explains why average testosterone levels in American men have been declining for decades independent of aging. A 40-year-old American man today has measurably lower testosterone than a 40-year-old American man in 1987, controlling for age, weight, and health status. The gut microbiome disruption driven by the modern American food environment is a primary biological driver of this generational hormonal decline. And no injection, no gel, no cream addresses the broken gut machinery that continues mishandling whatever testosterone the body produces. Here are the 5 protocol changes that rebuild the gut testosterone axis based on the current evidence as of June 2026. Change 1. Eliminate ultra-processed food completely for a minimum of 30 days. Within 72 hours of removing ultra-processed food, the gut microbiome begins shifting bacterial composition. Bacteroides loses its food supply. Ruminococcus and butyrate-producing bacteria begin recovering. Within 2 weeks, measurable changes in the bacterial balance appear. Within 30 days, the LPS burden in circulation begins dropping, and with it, the inflammatory suppression of the HPG axis that was keeping testosterone low. This single change is the most powerful testosterone intervention available, and it costs nothing. Change 2. Eat 30 different plant foods per week, with specific emphasis on cruciferous vegetables. As we covered in our gut health video, plant diversity is the single strongest predictor of microbiome diversity. But for testosterone specifically, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, contain indole-3-carbinol, which directly modulates estrogen metabolism and reduces the estrogenic burden that suppresses testosterone production. Diverse plant fiber produces the short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate, that seal the gut lining, eliminate the LPS leak, and restore the gut environment in which testosterone-supporting bacteria thrive. Change 3. Add fermented foods every single day. Lactobacillus and bifidobacterium strains found in Greek yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi directly support gut barrier integrity and reduce the systemic inflammation that suppresses the HPG axis. A 2021 Stanford study found that a high fermented food diet increased microbiome diversity and decreased inflammatory cytokines, the same cytokines that suppress testosterone production, within 10 weeks. 1 serving of fermented food daily for 30 days measurably changes both gut bacterial composition and the inflammatory environment that testosterone production depends on. Change 4. Practice 16-hour intermittent fasting daily. As we showed in our fasting video, a 16-hour fast triggers growth hormone to surge up to 5 times its normal baseline. Growth hormone and testosterone are synergistic, they rise and fall together, and each supports the production of the other. Fasting also drops insulin to its lowest daily level, and chronically elevated insulin directly suppresses testosterone synthesis in the Leydig cells of the testes. The 16-hour fasting window creates the precise hormonal environment where testosterone production is most biochemically efficient. Low insulin, elevated growth hormone, reduced gut-driven inflammation from the overnight food rest period. Change 5. Walk 30 minutes every morning in a fasted state, and add resistance training twice per week. Fasted morning walking reduces cortisol, and cortisol is one of the most direct biological suppressors of testosterone because the body uses the same precursor molecule to produce both. Lower cortisol means more precursor available for testosterone synthesis. Resistance training twice weekly sends the most powerful anabolic demand signal available to the HPG axis. It tells the body that muscle is under load, muscle is needed, and testosterone production is therefore essential. Combined, these 2 movement habits address testosterone from both the supply side and the demand side of the hormonal equation. Here is the complete picture as of June 2026. Your testosterone is controlled by a system, not a single organ. The testes produce it, the liver processes it. The gut metabolizes and recirculates it. The HPG axis regulates the entire production chain based on inflammatory signals coming largely from the gut. If any part of that system is broken, and for most American men the gut is the broken part, no intervention that targets only the testes will fully restore hormonal health. The testobolome research from Nature 2026 has given us the scientific framework to understand this system completely for the first time, and the 5 protocol changes we just covered address every part of it simultaneously. Clean food, plant diversity, fermented foods, fasting, consistent movement. That is the complete gut testosterone restoration system, and every piece of it is free. If this finally connected the dots between your gut and your hormonal health, hit like, share this with a man in your life who needs to hear it. Comment below whether any doctor has ever mentioned the gut testosterone connection to you. I guarantee most of you have never heard it in a medical setting. And next week I am covering the one mineral that 45% of Americans are deficient in, that directly controls testosterone production, sleep quality, and stress response simultaneously. It is the single most overlooked piece of the complete hormonal restoration protocol. Subscribe so you do not miss it.